The Great Pyramid of Giza here, the tomb of the pharaoh Khufu or Cheops, is about 4,600 years old. It's about 140 metres tall. That's about the same as a 40-storey building. To put the age into context, that's about 1,200 years before Tutankhamun was born. This is the only remaining ancient wonder of the world. Originally, the pyramids would have shined very brightly. They were faced in a very white limestone like this here. There's not much of it left now, just some on the top of Khafre's pyramid. So now I've seen the pyramids, I guess I can go home. But apparently there's quite a lot more to see. The catacombs date back to Roman times, and if the pyramids were just for one person, this is mass burial. Multiple coffins would have gone into all of these niches, but for VIPs there were some more elaborate sections. It's nearly 8 AM and we're on the overnight train to Aswan. We've been travelling through the hours of darkness, but now the sun's up, we're starting to get some views, and in a moment we should be able to see the Nile itself. This is the Temple of Isis, the most important female god. It was originally built on the neighbouring island of Philae, but when they constructed a dam in the River Nile in the early 1900s, the temple flooded from time to time, and when a bigger dam was planned, they decided to move the whole thing block by block. So in the late 70s, the whole thing is relocated to a higher level on this neighbouring island. You can even see here the watermark where the waters came up to before the temple was relocated. The temple has a complicated history. In Roman times, the reliefs of the Egyptian gods were defaced when all gods other than the Roman ones were effectively banned. Good morning, it's 4:30. It's an early start today with a 4-hour drive to the temple at Abu Simbel, down at the far end of Lake Nasser near the Sudanese border. This temple was built by the pharaoh Ramesses II in the 13th century BCE, It was common for pharaohs to build temples for people to worship them after their death. But old Ramesses had a bit of an ego, and he intended people to worship him while he was still alive. And you can see that coming out as one of the reliefs here shows an image of him worshipping himself as a deity. Perhaps just as impressive as the original construction of the temple is its relocation. The entire temple, which was built into the mountainside, has been relocated from what is now beneath the water of Lake Nasser, the reservoir created as part of the Aswan Dam project. They broke it into pieces, moved it up here and reassembled it bit by bit, supported by a concrete dome. And for the most part, you wouldn't realise looking from here that it's not where it was originally carved. The next part of the trip should be quite exciting. We're on the MS Grand Rose, a Nile cruise boat, and for the next 3 nights we'll be travelling from here at Aswan down to Luxor, stopping at a couple of places along the way. And that first stop is going to be the Temple of Komombo. We've just passed through the lock at Esna. There are 2 locks there, each large enough to hold 2 of these cruise boats, one behind the other. The clearance is very tight, only a few feet either side, and the bridge over the exit from the lock is so low that we've had to lower our flagpoles and masts to be able to get through. Meanwhile, a fleet of vendors has been trying to sell us various sheets and towels and so on from their rowing boats by throwing them up onto the deck. The temple complex here at Karnak is absolutely vast. It was constructed over a period of around 2,000 years, dating back to the 1900s BC. The hyperstyle hall that I'm walking through here was one of the later additions. It was constructed by a number of pharaohs and concluded by our old egotistical friend Ramesses II. And you can see he's claimed all the credit for it. He's had his name, his cartouche, carved into these columns very deeply, really taking on ownership of the entire project. This is the Valley of the Kings. There's 64 known tombs here and possibly more yet to be discovered. And this is a very different type of burial to the pyramids of the earlier pharaohs that we saw at the beginning of the trip. Here the tombs are cut into the hillside. We're going to go into about 5 today, culminating in the tomb of Tutankhamun. This is the tomb of Tutankhamun, found by Howard Carter, and his mummy is on display here. Pharaoh Hatshepsut reigned in the 15th century BC, and she was one of a handful of ruling queens. Her mortuary temple here, about 20 years later, was actually defaced, and all of the images of her were removed. There's not one single one left here, and nobody really quite knows why. And this is the last archaeological site we'll be visiting on this trip. These are the Colossi of Memnon, reconstructed statues damaged by earthquakes. From here, we'll be heading back to Cairo and then home.